Good morning, everyone. This is your mentor Shivani Sharma from mentorbuddy.com. I hope I'm audible to all. Please respond to the chat box, students, if you can hear me clearly. Good morning, Arshdeep. Good morning, Damini. What about other students? Good morning, Sharayu Patil. Good morning, Prathamesh. Good morning, Aniket, Aman, Sanket, Monisha, Rutvik. Good morning, everybody. What about other students? We have a lot many students in the class. Why others are not responding? Good morning, Anak Krishna. Good morning, Akanksha. Good morning, Rakshita. Good morning, Anshika Shukla, Pallavi. Good morning. All right. So I'm audible to all right. Good morning, Shweta Raina. All right. So today's class, as you must have seen the title of the class today, it is going to be very helpful for you, right? In the sense that you are attending so many webinars and video conferences. And right now, since all of us are attending classes from home, teachers are also working from home. So today's session is going to be helpful for you in the present context also, right? You don't need to wait that when once you start working, then only you will be getting the benefit of this session. But starting from day one, right, this will be helpful and beneficial for you, and you'll be knowing about the different netiquettes, right? So the word that is used nowadays is called as netiquette. Anything that you are doing on internet, what are the etiquette to etiquettes to do that particular action is termed as netiquettes, right? So today we are going to cover two aspects related with it, that are video conferencing etiquette and telephonic conversation etiquette. Right? Good morning, Jignesh. So let us start the session quickly. I hope you all can see the presentation. Yes, can everybody see the presentation? All right, thank you so much for responding. So today's session is on telephone and video conference etiquette. And this is 11th session in our series of webinars, sorry, titled as Campus to Corporate, right? So we are talking about this. Before we could start, as the ritual of the class, like we always do, let us set the expectations right. So I just want to understand from my students, what do you expect from today's class? Let's be a little quick in responding to the questions because I have many things for you. So when I say telephone and video conference etiquette, what do you expect from the class today, students? Let us all be on the same level of expectations so that we are able to achieve the objectives of the class. Quickly respond with your expectations so that we can understand. Yes, I'm still waiting. Okay, Suryakant says how we behave or gesture in telephone and video conference, how to handle telephonic interviews. Yes, definitely. See, this session is going to be helpful for you because, because of the pandemic, everything is happening online. You are also appearing for your interviews through online mode, whether through telephone conferencing or video conferencing, right? So how to deal with those problems, right? How to improve your screen presence, how to look professional on screen, or how to handle your telephone calls in a professional manner. Very good, Aniket. How to attend or handle telephonic corporate business calls and video conference. Pallavi says how to start and end telephonic conversation. Very nice. Sanket says how to state point when others are talking, and how to use chat correctly, how to deal when two persons are talking at the same time. Wonderful, wonderful answers given by all of you. Prathamesh, Aniket, Pallavi, Sanket, Sanjana, purpose of telephonic communication, right? And Suryakant, right? Thank you so much, students, for responding and sharing your expectations from the class. So definitely, yes, we are going to cover all these objectives in the session today. Okay, so we have some ground rules for the class as we always share. So let me just show that the objective of the class, we will be talking about video conferencing etiquette and telephone etiquettes. We have the same ground rules as always. You are going to listen attentively. You will participate actively in the class, share your experience, respect each other, keep a notebook and pen ready so that you can just make a note of all the points which you feel are relevant for you. And please write down your queries. I'll take up the queries towards the end of the class, right? So, first, let us understand more about what is video conferencing. So, to start, and to give you a broad idea, I'm sure all of you are aware about the fact, but as a mentor, I have to tell you the exact meaning of the word video conference and what do we mean by particularly this. So video conferencing is nothing but an online meeting, right? And what happens when two or more people engage in a live audio visual call, right? That is called as video conferencing. I have seen a lot of people, they keep their videos off, right, in video conferencing, but we assume that if it's an audio visual call, that means you are expected to keep your videos on and your audio should be on when you want to say something, right? What is highly desirable if you want to have a good experience of video conferencing is that your internet connection should be very strong. Suppose you have a meeting lined up or you have to appear for a video conferencing interview tomorrow or day after, ensure that you have very strong internet connection so that your audio and your visual goes without any flaw. The participants can see, hear, and talk to each other in real time, no matter where in the world they are. So we need to be thankful to the technology for this. Otherwise, amidst the pandemic, everything would have been halt, right? But because of so much improved technology and internet connectivity with all of us, we are able to do everything sitting inside our homes, right? We are attending our classes, we are doing work, we are connecting with our clients, we are connecting with our vendors, everything is being delivered online, we are doing payments and everything, whatnot, right? So, video conferencing is one of the most important tools that technology has gifted us with to make our work and our academics going, isn't it? Now, I just want to show a very quick small video to you to set the context right so that you also are very clear about the points that I just want to highlight in the class today. We will be discussing these points in the coming up slides. But before that, let me just set the context with the help of this video, which I'm sure you all are going to enjoy, right? There are certain ground rules which we all need to follow when we have to indulge in video conference as a participant and both as an organizer also, right? So these are termed as virtual meeting netiquette. I was talking about this term netiquette, as you can see here, right? Netiquette word. Now this netiquette means anything that has to do with virtual. So I'm sure all of you like this video, right? So it clearly says that you need to be on time until unless we have a time machine in existence, right? So this was one of the funniest ways of talking about the do's and don'ts of virtual meetings or video conferencing, right? So let me just take you ahead and discuss the points that I was trying to make in this. Right. So first, let us try and understand what are the different types of video conference, right? So the first one being one is to one conferencing. Suppose you have to appear for a job interview, right? So that is going to be generally one is to one conversation, right? Students, am I audible to everybody? Am I audible? Am I audible, students? Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So there are different types of video conferencing. So there is one, suppose what we are doing going to do very soon is an online session. I'm planning to schedule it on Tuesday. So by Monday, you will be receiving the Zoom link, right? All those who have shared their resume with me, I'll be discussing about each and every resume in the Zoom call only. And we'll be telling you about the feedback also, right? So maybe on Tuesday during evening time, that is 7:30 to 8:30, we'll be having our Zoom meeting for the live mock interviews. So that is going to be one is to one conversation. And this is the most common and intimate way where people use video conferencing through one on one video call, right? Then we also have internal video calls and team meetings, right? So you must have been aware of, you must have seen your parents or elder siblings indulging in team meetings through video conferencing, right? Then we also have external video calls where customer and vendor relationships are involved, and you make video calls with them. Now video calls can be done through your smartphones or through laptops. And then we have large or all hands meetings like we are having just now, right? So we have, let's say around 200 odd students in the session. So this will be termed as large meetings, right? Now there are certain do's and don'ts which we all follow. When it is one is to one conversation, it is all right to keep your audio on, right? In internal or team meetings, you should put your audio unmute, right? Or you should just, make your audio unmute when you have to speak something, right? Otherwise, you should keep it on mute only. Then with external video calls or customer and vendor relationships and all hand meetings, generally it happens in large meetings. You will find that the audio right is not given, so that, to ensure that the meeting goes on without any problems. Now, every just like every coin has two sides, similarly there are pros and cons of every good thing also, right? So there are certain disadvantages of video conferencing also. The first and the very most, the disadvantage of video conferencing is that there will be no personal contact and understanding, or ideally there will be less of it. Then network instability and time lag. Many a time you must have seen that because of network issues, people, the presenters sound, or when the audience who are interacting with the presenter, their sound is not coming properly. So you will find time lag, or because of the network issue, you sometimes you are not able to see the audio, or the you are unable to hear the audio or see the video also. Technical issues and employee training. For example, the platform that I am using, that is go webinar, right? Go to meetings or go to webinar, I have gone through a proper training to conduct my session on this platform. Then only I'm able to do that. Reason being, it might happen that sometime when I'm not very comfortable with this platform, or I am not aware of this, sometimes it becomes difficult. I might face up some kind of technical challenge, right? So that is also very important, that you have to train your presenter and your employee how to make use of a particular technical platform, so that your video conference goes without any problems. More stress and less organized, right? So generally you will find that when there is a video conferencing, or there's some virtual meeting, employees are under pressure that their work should go on smoothly without any problem, right? So these are more or less few disadvantages of video conferencing, but let me tell you one thing very clearly. These are the things which we can easily manage. All these things are manageable things, right? Where we try to connect with our people, we can take care of the network instability also, right? Technical issues can be taken care of with proper training and proper support system. So all these things are very easily taken care of. Right, now let us try to understand what are the different pros and cons of video conferencing. As I was telling you just now, that every coin has two sides, right? So it's not that the technology is only having limitations or disadvantages. There are definitely a lot of good things related with this, and that is why we all of us are making use of video conferencing so much, right? It is definitely better than voice only conference calls. Why do you think that video conferencing is better than voice calls conference? I need an answer from you all. Why do you think video conferencing is a better option than voice only conference calls? I need a response from the students. Bhavita, I have received your CV, right? So I'll be sharing the responses on the CVs very soon. Okay, Pratmesh says it makes the interaction interesting. Shashank says for better communication. You can see facial expressions. Yes, Saurabh. So the conversation becomes less boring. All right, Prathamesh, we interact with each other to know body language, to increase face to face interaction, good interaction. Very rightly said and coined by all of you. Yes, these are the different reasons. So with video conferencing, you feel to be more connected with the speaker, right? And it becomes easier to understand the topic, right? So that is the whole idea of having a video conferencing, giving more weightage to video conferencing than telephonic interaction, right? So it becomes easier to understand the topic, because here you can also see the body language of the presenter, other non-verbal cues also, which you can correlate with the verbal communication, and it helps in better understanding. You get more connected with the speaker by looking at him or her. It allows for easy collaboration. You can easily make out the through the body language of the other person, whether the he or she is able to understand the points that you are trying to make or not, right? And of course, with the help of video conferencing, the geographical constraints are not there, right? So you don't have to pay the bill for the traveling and everything. and it becomes easier. No cost involved, no hassles involved. You don't have to wait for everybody to start and everything, right? And employees also have the benefit that they are staying in their home, right, with their families, and they are able to just take out, let's say, 30 minutes or 1 hour and attend the sessions. There are free options to get you started, as you might be aware of the fact that Zoom calls, right? So you can have a free Zoom call of 40 minutes. You don't have to pay anything to, organize a meeting over Zoom or over Google Meet. At the same time, we have some specified softwares that are, more confidential, and there are bigger organizations that buy these. They are prepared by, let's say, Cisco, and there are other vendors also, nationally and internationally, which provide video conferencing platforms, right? So the companies organize their virtual meetings and online interactions on these platforms only to take care of different aspects. Quality systems cost money. Now, this is important because if you want to attend a virtual meeting without any problems or without any technical lags, then the quality of your system needs to be good. You must have seen that it is clearly mentioned when you'll be appearing for Skype interviews or, the teleconferencing meetings or your interviews. So they will be specifying you that what should be the internet speed, what should be the configuration of your laptop, right, to ensure that there are no technical hassles while attending the meeting. And it takes very good coordination also if you want to run a video conferencing successfully, right? You need to coordinate well with the entire team, with your, with your teachers, with your friends, so that your project or your meeting is just successful. Clear? Now, there are two terms. Some of you must be wondering, ma'am, then we are talking about video conference, and what is video call? Right? So, I have used this slide to make you understand. A video conference is essentially a video call with two or more people, right? So, when you have two or more people involved in a video call, we call it as a conference. Everyone on the video conference call can see and talk to each other. Now think of a web conference. You must have seen, nowadays even politicians are doing that. Because of the pandemic, Modi ji has been, continuously organizing video conferencing with the chief ministers of different states to know what is the condition and to talk about things. He's not calling them to Delhi to interact, right? So think of a web conference as a one-way street and a video conference call as a two-way, right? So basically this is a general difference. However, people are making use of the word video call and video conference interchangeably, but ideally the concepts are this, right? That a web conference or a video conference is a one-way street, and a video conference call is a two-way, where both the host and the attendees have an option to interact with their audios and videos on. So it is more of two-way, and there can be multiple attendees, right? So, for the sake of the usage of the term, you can make use of the terms interchangeably also. Now, as you have seen in the video, let's quickly have a look at conference call etiquette, right? So the first, as you have seen in the video also, don't be late. Suppose your meeting is scheduled for 11:30, ensure that you are ready with all your, system configuration, with your headset on and everything just before 5 minutes of the meeting, right? Set everything in place. Don't be in rush at the 11th hour that you are looking for your mic, or your phone is not there, or the internet connectivity is not good. Be kind, be patient, and listen to others. Don't interrupt when somebody is speaking. Wait for your opportunity. There are a lot many options. You can just raise your hand. You can type in through the chat box and ask for the permission of the presenter to speak, or you can just raise your concern through the chat box. Right? So many of the students were asking us that why we are using this platform where you are not allowed to speak. So, dear students, please understand that we have 1 hour to complete one or two topics, right? Now, if I am going to allow everybody to speak, do you think we'll be able to complete the class on time and the content? So that was the only reason, right? And you must have seen that not everybody sitting in the class is interested in speaking, right? So now this is how we have planned for things, that we'll be assigning you different work in the classes, and those students who are sincerely completing their work and connecting with us on feedback.mentorbuddy, they will be allowed to attend a Zoom session with us, where they will get an opportunity to interact, they will be getting an opportunity to speak with me, I'll be interacting with them and all, right? There are hardly 5% of students from the last session who have completed their assignment on email writing. That is something which I did not like. I was expecting more assignments to reach us. So all those who are going to share their assignments with us on feedback.mentorbuddy, only they will be allowed to attend the live sessions, right? All right. Make sure that you know how to mute and unmute both. But this is something which is very very trivial nowadays. All of us are very much aware of the platforms on which video conferences are happening. Always announce yourself when joining the call and the conversation. Now, announcing means, for example, you must have seen that when I start the session, I always say good morning and I expect a response from you all, right? So that to understand that whether you are able to hear me or not. At the same time, I call out the names of the students, so that you also feel connected, that yes, ma'am is also giving us or paying attention to us as well. Come to the call prepared. Whenever you are attending a video conference, you should be prepared for that. Always understand that the call may be recorded, so be in your best of attire, and don't talk anything that is not required. Don't make use of slangs, don't talk unprofessionally, and don't multitask. I have seen many people, they are busy in a video conferencing, at the same time they are also operating their smartphones, or also reading something, or working mothers taking care of the babies also and attending conference calls, or working in kitchen preparing food and attending conference calls. Now these are some few things which you should definitely avoid doing. In the video also, you must have seen that it was clearly shown. Understand that the conference call, if it is important for you, avoid everything and pay your attention for the next 30 to 45 minutes in the conference call only. I'm sure that many of the students right now are also who have joined from their mobile phones or laptops, must be attending the class also and at the same time doing something else as well, right? How many of you are doing multitasking right now? Let me see how many of my students are multitaskers, champions. How many of you are doing multitasking, attending my class along with that, doing something else as well? Yes, Pratmesh, that's an important point. I'll be discussing that. Okay, Manch Ranjan Patra is saying no, ma'am. What about others? I just want to see how many of you are multitasking. I'll not take your names. Don't worry. Yes, how many of you are doing multitasking? Sushmita is also saying no, ma'am. Saurabh, yes, ma'am means what? You are doing multitasking. Attending my class and also watching television. Yes, Shashank, I know no one is going to answer. Okay, okay, but I know, yes. There are few students who are watching the television also. So the television is on and they are also attending my session also. Right. So if ma'am is talking about something that is worthwhile, I'm going to listen to her. Otherwise, I'll enjoy my program. Oh, please don't do that. Please don't ride and attend the class. That is something which I don't want, right? So while you are driving or riding a bike, please don't put on your headphones. That is something which is very which is very detrimental, right? You should not do that. It's dangerous. Don't do that. All right, thank you so much for paying so much of attention to the class. I'm really glad that you people are not doing multitasking. Right. Okay. Don'ts of video call. What we are not going to do. Don't position your camera too low, too high, or hooked onto a different monitor. Please understand that you are attending a call where viewers are interested in looking at your face, right? And your gestures. Weird camera angles can be very distracting. Please avoid that. Understand that your camera needs to be adjusted in a proper place, that your face is clearly visible, right? And just like the image that we see in a passport size photograph, similar should be your positioning on the camera. Make sure your camera is eye level and on the monitor you plan to use for the conference. So the level of the camera should be to your eye level, right? Neither below that and nor above that. These are certain don'ts of video call, right? I'm going to show you a very interesting video related with this also, right? So now let us quickly talk about tips for virtual meeting. I have to go a little fast because you have next class also listed after this, and we still have to do telephone conferencing, right? So let us have a look at few tips that are going to be very handy for you in any kind of virtual meeting, whether that be related with your BTech sessions or once you will be joining the corporate. These tips are going to be very, very important for you. And believe me, students, you might be wondering, ma'am, all these things are very easy. We all are aware of this. But still, I have seen people, even those who are highly professional in nature, they are not able to take care of these trivial issues also, right? So I just want all of you to pay a lot of emphasis on this, and please make a proper note. And once we'll be doing a Zoom call, I will also be taking into account all these things. So these tips are going to be helpful for you during our Zoom call as well.
Turning to virtual meetings to help us conduct our work. We should all be familiar with the format and etiquette of face-to-face meetings. However, some of us may not have much experience with virtual meetings. In this short animation, we will give you some tips on how you can participate effectively in virtual meetings. Make sure you're familiar with your organization's virtual meeting software. Liaise with your local IT function if new software needs to be installed or to request user guides. If you're using new meeting software, try testing with a colleague so you become familiar with its features. Adhere to existing virtual meeting etiquette guidelines. Your organization may already have an established etiquette for virtual meetings. If this is the case, ensure you review these guidelines and follow them through. Consider what role you will have in the meeting. Will you be contributing or actively listening? You may be asked to speak, or you might be joining the meeting to keep yourself and your team informed. Review meeting documentation ahead of time. To more effectively contribute to the meeting, review any documentation, consider any question or issues ahead of time. Pick a quiet place. Try to join the meeting from a quiet environment, somewhere that's free from ambient noise and other distractions. Be on time. As with face-to-face meetings, being on time is crucial. If you're unable to avoid being late for a meeting, let the organizer know ahead of time. Use a headset if available. Using a headset ensures your colleagues will be able to hear you better by cutting out background noise. Mute your mic when not in use. When you're not speaking, mute your microphone. This helps limit background noise and disruptive audio feedback for all participants. Be mindful of other participants. Before giving your input, state your name. This helps limit confusion in virtual meetings and provides guidance for those who only have audio access to the meeting. Speak slowly and clearly and try not to cut across other speakers. Stay focused. Give the meeting your full attention and try not to multitask. Be patient with disruptions that may occur. You In meetings with a lot of participants, disruptions will occur from time to time. A speaker may get interrupted or may be dropped from the meeting completely. Have patience when this occurs and do your bit to ensure the meeting is kept on track. Follow up after the meeting. Ensure you review the minutes and complete any tasks assigned. Following these tips will help you participate fully in and get the most from each virtual meeting you attend.
So I'm sure that these tips are going to be really very handy and helpful for all of you, right? And don't just assume that this will be helpful for you in attending your corporate meetings. Right now, also when you are attending different webinars and video conferences for, for different subjects, and to upgrade your skills, to prepare for your campus placements and everything, these are going to be really very handy for you, right? Because I've not seen students following proper protocols and etiquette for attending their video conference, right? So I don't want my students to also come into that category, and I'm sure that all of you have understood what are the do's and don'ts to attend the video conference. Let's quickly revise what we have understood so far. So don't position your camera too low, too high, or hooked onto a different monitor. Make sure that your room is well lit, that your face is clearly visible. Ideally, there should be side lighting, that your face is properly, shown when others are interacting with you. Wear appropriate clothing. Don't just sit. I know that we all are tempted to sit in our night dresses because these are the most comfortable wear, right? And when you are attending a call from your home, you just want to be in the very most casual dresses of yours. But understand, if you are attending a video conference, be in appropriate clothing, right? Your wall art or decoration, the wall behind you when you are attending a conference, should be work appropriate, and your surroundings should be clean. Don't sit in a messy environment, doesn't give a good impression. Please do test your microphone before your video call. If you are in a group call without video, introduce yourself before you talk. Right? Because how the other person will come to know? Or let's say it's a call where 50 odd people are sitting, right? Or more than that even. So you please take your name before starting to speak. When you're talking, look into the camera instead of looking at yourself talking on the computer screen. I have seen people doing this. They're tempted to do like this, right? All of us love to see our faces. So as soon as you see your face on the screen, instead of looking at the camera, you start looking at your face, how you are looking, right? Don't do that, because the way how others are looking at you, your eye contact will not be there, and it doesn't give a good impression. So these are few final tips, and this brings us to the end of video conferencing. Let us quickly have a look at 5 mistakes to avoid while video conferencing.
How's it been working from home? Not bad. I can get used to this. Sorry, John, I can't see you. Oh, sorry. How about now? Yeah. With more and more businesses working from home, video conferencing is now more important than ever. Let's go over some of the most common video conferencing mistakes and how to avoid them. Anyway, I wanted to discuss this report. Whoa, hold on there. Lauren is only seeing your nose hairs. Is that better? Yes, thank you. We can barely hear you. Ideally, you'll want to check that your microphone is at the right levels. Calling a colleague before an important call will often help that problem. Now, if you can't, you want to make sure that your audio input settings are on the slightly higher or lower end, depending on the sound that's coming. If you notice that your colleagues are still struggling to hear you, make sure you slow down and enunciate your words clearly. Remember, this isn't a phone call. We can see your eyes. Therefore, you want to make sure where your eyes are placed during any video conference. Is that better? Similar to face-to-face meetings, eye contact is so important. Our natural position is to look down either at ourselves to make sure everything's set or at the other person to see how they're responding. However, you probably noticed that as I was looking down at myself, all of you there, I wasn't making eye contact. Therefore, make sure you spend anywhere from 80 to 90% of the time looking at the camera lens. Great, Lauren can see you. Can you see her? Well, you guys are a bit dark and blurry. He's right. It's pretty dark. But Neil, it's daytime, and I like to work in natural light. Yes, but what might seem fine to the natural eye will look very different on a webcam. In fact, John, I'd ask you to do the same. Sure. That light is really bringing out that stain on that shirt. It can be tempting to wear what we call in England your old night suits, but it's important to still look professional. Here, put this on. Okay, but it's cool if I take my pants off, right? They're not, right? No. All right, are you both ready to continue the meeting? Yes, absolutely. These are just a few tips that we've covered to make sure that you're much more professional when working from home. Right now, we want to replicate how you were face to face virtually. Reach out to us if you have any questions or if you want to sign up to one of our best practice courses where we'll take you through everything from the hardware all the way through to
Right, students? So we have covered most of the points related with video conferencing now. We all are very clear with what we are going to follow and what we are going to avoid. Clear? So now we'll come to the next part of the presentation today, and that is about telephone etiquette. Right, so we'll go a little quickly on telephone etiquette because it covers more or less all the points we have covered in video conferencing. So now we'll be going to that. Just a moment. Right. So now let us quickly understand the different telephone etiquette, and then I'll be covering up the questions which are shared by by the students. So the certain telephone etiquette says that whenever there is any professional call or on your professional number, answer the call within 3 rings. Right? That is one of the protocol that all of us need to professionally follow. As soon as you pick up the call, you need to introduce yourself, right? Or if you are a caller and you're calling somebody and the call is picked from the other side, you need to introduce yourself. Speak clearly, and when I say speak clearly, that means don't rush with words and neither go very slow, because the other person who's listening to you is not having the entire day to listen to you. Only use speakerphone when necessary. Otherwise, don't make use of speakerphone. Actively listen and take notes when it's a professional call. Please have a pen and a paper ready and do take down notes or make important points written somewhere if it's a professional and an important call. Make use of proper language and proper tone. Don't sound rude or assertive. Remain cheerful. Ask before putting someone on hold or transferring a call. Suppose you have attended a call which is not meant for you and you are going to transfer that call to somebody else. Do that after taking the permission of the caller or after informing the caller that I'm going to transfer your call to the concerning person. Kindly hold on for a minute. Right? So please follow these telephone etiquette, which are very essential and which we, take for granted and don't follow properly. Right? Again, more or less the same things. Promptly answer calls. Ideally, within 3 rings, the average ring takes 6 seconds. So you need to be little quick in answering a professional call. Be warm and welcoming. Right? The other person should not get the impression, oh my God, whom, you know, like I have called a person who is not happy with life also. Introduce yourself and the reason why you are calling. Speak clearly. Do not make use of slangs or buzzwords. Hey, how is you? Now, how is you is a slang, right? Which I have seen that students use a lot. You can use it with your friends, but how is you is incorrect English, which is a slang used by Americans. Please don't use that in professional calls. Ask before you put people on hold. We have just now discussed about this. We have to follow all the protocol of business communication here. Don't just put calls through, right? If you are taking somebody on a conference call or there's somebody who is joining you for a call, take the permission of the person before you connect him or her to somebody, and be prepared for your calls. If you're assigned a task that for the next 2 days you'll be attending all the important official calls on the behalf of your senior, make sure that you are ready to attend those calls, right? And what is the best way to be prepared? Just keep a pen and a paper ready with you to take down the important points of that professional call, right? Now, there are few tips. These are more or less related with the tips that we have done so far in the video conferencing also, right? Let us just have a quick recap on some telephone etiquette. So remember to keep it professional and always attend the calls with confidence, right? So these are the 7 P's of telephone etiquette: prepared, present, polite, patient, personable, professional, and proactive. Right? So it is very important that you do everything in your power to avoid impeding the flow of communication. Impeding means obstructing. Right? Always keep in mind that effective business telephone etiquette requires you that you are going to follow all these 7 P's. So keep a note of these 7 P's. You're always going to be prepared. And this goes for both. This goes for telephone also, and this goes for video conferencing etiquette also. Be prepared, be presentable, be polite when you communicate, be patient and listen to others, right? Personable means call out the name or the designation of the people, present yourself, tell your introduction before speaking, be professional. When I say be professional, that means you're not going to make use of any words or gesture considering the other person to be your friend. And be proactive. Be proactive means before you attend a telephone call or a video conference, ensure that you have done your homework, you have gone through the documents properly, and always keep a paper and a pen ready with you so that you can note down all the important points related with the telephone conference or the video conference. Right? Am I clear on these points? Right. So this brings us to the end of points that I had with me to discuss with you regarding the telephone and the video conference etiquette. Now I have some self-assessment questions for you. You all can go through these questions and answer for yourself, and then we'll discuss. Meanwhile, I'll also take up the questions through the chat box as we are short of time. So you can do self-assessment and you can also post your queries through the chat box. If you are in a peer's office and you answer the phone for them, it is inappropriate to say who's calling, please. What do you think? Is it inappropriate to ask who's calling? True or false? False. You should always try to find out who is the person that is who's calling and what is the context. In the unlikely event that you reach a receptionist or secretary when making a business call, how should you address the call taker? Ask for the person you are calling for, or ask for your party's extension without offering any other information. Ask for the person you are calling for, state your name and purpose for calling, and ask for the person you are calling for and state your name. So for question number 2, what do you think is the right one? A, B, C, or D? A, B, C, or D? What do you think for question number 2? Yes, very good, Monisha and Mansh. What about others? Yes, Rushi, that is the right answer. Come on, students, quickly respond. I could see only 3 responses. Out of 150 students, only 3 and 4 are responding. Why is the question not clear? It is ideally that you should ask for the person you are calling for. You are going to share your name and you are at the same time telling what is the purpose of your call. Clear? The single most important factor in leaving a voicemail message is, whenever you have to leave a voicemail message, what are the things that you are going to keep in mind? You will leave a message that is short and to the point. You're going to leave a humorous message, leaving as much information as possible through a voicemail message, or speaking clearly and succinctly. Yes, question number 3. Very good. Yes, option A is the right one for question number 3. Very nice, students. Very good, Saurabh, Rushi, Prithvinath, Sripuram, Sushmita. Sushmita, dear, it's not D, it's A, right? You're going to leave a message that is short and to the point. D, I think you are not able to, differentiate between option A and D, because option D also to a certain extent means what we intend in option A, right? Very good, Arshdeep. That is the right answer. Asim, Nikhil. Very nice. Question number 4 says, You should never take a business call at lunch, even if co-workers lunching with you don't mind. True or false? Yes, true. You should never take a business call when you are eating or drinking something, right? That is something which is a very, very basic etiquette related with calls, right? Don't take a call when you are eating something or chewing something. Very good. Anshika, Vaishnavi, Shruti, Sushmita, Akshay, very good. That is the right answer. Question number 5 says you should not talk about personal issues on a business call until you have established a personal relationship with your business contact. True or false? Just now we have discussed that we are going to have a very professional relationship. So we are not going to just pour our heart out to the person with whom you are speaking. Is that clear? Right. So I have more questions also, but as time is less, I'm not going to take up all the questions. But I think that we have understood the actual motive and the basic protocol that we have to keep in mind when we are engaged in a video conference or we are attending a professional call, right? So this brings us to the end of the session. You people can ask any questions if you have right now. I will be taking up the questions for another 2 minutes and then I'll wind up the session. Please do share the feedback on feedback.mentorbuddy@gmail.com. I will post in the other questions related with the assessment of telephone etiquette on Mentor Buddy. So you can attend telephone etiquette questionnaire from there itself to assess yourself. Okay. So any questions, please post in through the question box. Right. So please do write to us on feedback.mentorbuddy@gmail.com. Right. And if you are facing any issue related with the webinars, write to us on support@mentorbuddy.com. Upload all your certificates and tag us on Quantum Learning. And you can book your seat for my upcoming webinars on centerofexcellence.com. Right. All of us, you will be receiving the intimation for the Zoom session along with the Zoom invite on your mail. You have to share your CV on feedback.mentorbuddy@gmail.com. Yes, Damini, I've received your resume, right? I have corrected it also. I will be discussing all the details with your resume on in the live class only, right? Sushmita, if you have not received your webinar certificate, please write on support@mentorbuddy.com. Yes, Mansh, please ask your question. Thank you, Sakshi, for a wonderful feedback. Mansh, yes, Mansh, you can ask your question. Go ahead.